Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel, where today I'm doing this eyeshadow look, which I think is so pretty. I'm using these two palettes. This is the Planet Spirit from Udanzai, and then this is Lure from Blend Bunny. If you'd like to see how I did this, then don't go anywhere. I'm also going to be chatting a little bit about summer plans. I'd love to know what your summer plans are. If you've never been here before, hello. My name is Rachel, and I am a homeschooling stay-at-home mom. I really enjoy playing with eyeshadow, particularly colorful eyeshadow. So I try to upload several videos a week, naps permitting, and I hope you'll consider liking and subscribing if this is your jam and you like what you see. Okay guys, let me tell you what I'm thinking for this look. I want to use the Planet Spirit palette from the recent Udanzai collaboration trio because this one I find to be the most challenging, but it also has the most exciting colors. I want to use these two shimmers. I don't really want to use any of the mattes in here. I thought I would build the rest of the mattes from the Lure palette from Blend Bunny. Honestly, I'm not certain if I want to go more green or teal or blue. Totally haven't decided. No plan as far as that. I just know I want to use those two shimmers. And then if you're not aware, I'm doing sort of a panning kind of project. It's not really panning, but it's called my palette pull-in project. I'm currently working through this palette, and basically the palette was randomly selected for me from a random generator, and then I have to use every shade in consecutive order. So in this palette, I have used up through shade number 13, which means my next shade fits in perfectly with today's look. It's called Moody. That's honestly kind of boring because it's not very challenging. I don't know, maybe I'll throw that on the lower lash line. I'm not sure because I don't know what mattes I'm using from the Lure palette. I've already primed my eyes. Everything that I'm using is linked below in the description box, along with lots of other stuff. So let's zoom in and get going. Okay, so because the most pigmented shimmer which I'd like to use is more green teal based, I'm gonna go blue. I'm gonna avoid greens and avoid teals and just go straight into a blue. So I'm taking a dense blending brush and dipping into the deep. I'm going to lay this in my outer corner, of course, and a little bit in my crease. I don't know if you guys can hear outside, there is a pretty decent thunderstorm going on right now. Where I live, we get really exciting springtime weather. I find it to be exciting, but I like a good storm. I like thunderstorms, I like lightning, and the rumble and the drama. I love rain. I mean, I wouldn't like it all the time. That would probably be depressing, but I do like a good storm now and then. And the lightning here is pretty fantabulous. It's like strobe shows. It happens often at nighttime, which could make it difficult for some people to sleep, but I think it's great. I've taken a smaller brush into that same color. I'm fine-tuning which brushes I use for my eyes, and I find that I get the results I like when I use smaller brushes. I do have hooded eyes, and of course with age that hood changes and you might get new folds and whatnot, so it's really a matter of learning to work with what you've got as far as your eye shape and which brushes help you get the result that you're looking for. Okay, I think I'm going to take a larger blending brush and grab the shade Catch Me, and I'm going to start this in my inner corner, and I'll use this to blend out the blue as well. Well, this is blue, to blend out the deeper blue. I hope you guys are very well. I'd love to hear in the comments how you're doing, what you're up to. I know the school year is coming to a close and many of my subscribers are parents. So do you guys have plans for the summer? People ask me that and I kind of pause and then I say, no, because I sort of forget that summer plans are a thing until halfway through the summer. I never grew up doing things for the summer. Some of our friends would go to the beach. They'd go to the shore, as they said. And that was what they did every summer. So as I got a little bit older, I would go with them sometimes, which was a lot of fun. But my family never did summer things. From what I can recall, we never had like a summer vacation. I think when we were younger, we would do road trips and stuff, but that wasn't necessarily summertime. It was just through the year, especially because we were homeschooling. We had the time flexibility to do that, and everything was educational. But what we did was we went away for Christmas, and we went to Canada. I think I made a video talking about that. Oh, I remember. It was sort of like a Christmas or a holiday tag video. I can card it above if I find it, where I'm talking about going to Canada for Christmas. And that's what we did. So we didn't so much have summer vacation. We took our vacation in the winter time, made lots of snow memories, which are so special to me. But because of that, the concept of summer vacation is a little bit foreign to me. And I also rather dislike hot weather. I really dislike hot weather. Where I live, it gets quite hot, and I don't want to go outside. It's a little bit nauseating to me. I actually will start feeling sick, and I don't like the heat. I don't like humidity, of course, but I love the rain. So I would rather a lower temperature with rain that adds humidity to the air rather than a hot, dry temperature, because my husband, we have this conversation so often, and he'll say, but it's a dry heat. I was like, I know, I understand that, and I understand that it's not humid, so you don't walk outside and start sweating immediately. I understand that, and I understand why that would be unpleasant, or is unpleasant, but for me, it's also the heat itself, the actual high temperature. No. So this is where we are with the mattes. Now I'm going to go into Planet Spirit palette with a flat brush. I'm going to grab the shade Familiar, and I'm going to spray it after I've loaded my brush. Here's Familiar, starting at where the dark blue matte starts, because I don't want to bring this all the way into my inner lid space. I haven't used this shade at all yet, so I'm excited to get a chance to use it. My one complaint with, I would say, the whole trio of these Udenzi palettes, I like them all. They're all very pretty. I wouldn't have bought them if I didn't like them. And I love Udenzi's formula and their branding and their packaging. They're excellent across the board. My one complaint, if I were to put all these three palettes together, is that there's not a lot of depth. There's a darker brown in the Sea Talk palette. The Flora Story is pretty mid-tone across the board, except for a light shimmer. And then this palette, the darkest shade is like this teal matte, and mine broke. It broke, and I found it later, ground into my carpet. So now I've got this very teal splotch on my very ivory carpet. Anyway, there's not a lot of depth. All the deepest tones are still kind of the dark side of medium. There's nothing really dark. And that is my biggest complaint with the trio across the board. If you were to pair them all together, I wish there were one or two very dark mattes. I've cleaned off this brush with my color switch. Now I'm going into the light shimmer in the Planet Spirit palette. It's called Fauna. And again, I'm going to spray it after it's on my brush. And I'm placing this on my inner corner and my inner third of the lid space. This is a multi-chrome in the palette, but in my experience, it pulls quite pink. And then when I've got that pretty well loaded onto the lid, I'm just color switching my brush to clean it off a bit. I'm going back and forth, dragging Fauna onto Familiar, and then going the other direction, dragging Familiar onto Fauna. And that's how I'm trying to work these two colors and sparkly shimmers together. They're slightly different formulas. A Familiar is a little bit creamier, a little bit more emollient, and Fauna is a bit more, it doesn't quite have the same base, I think, and it's a different level of sparkle. Okay, so now I'm going into Fauna Dry, and I'm just using that to help bridge the gap a bit, because if it's dry, the sparkles will disperse as opposed to being sort of painted on, which is what happens when it's wet. So if you want to help disperse or spread your sparkle a little bit more, then use it dry. Okay, with a small blending brush, it's also a little bit pinched. I'm going back into Catch Me, and I'm putting this on my lower lash line, starting pretty well in the inner corner and dragging it about halfway to 2/3. This shadow builds so nicely. I was watching Carrie K. I can link her down below if you're interested. I really like her channel. She and I have very, very similar tastes as far as eyeshadow preferences, aesthetic brands, but we also have a lot of other things in common. I was watching, she recently did a video where she was answering questions that her subscribers put on Instagram, and I just resonated with many of her answers. Not all of them, but many of them. That's the one that I'll link. I'll link that video below. In that video, she was talking about Blend Bunny, and she has talked to some people who apparently had a really unpleasant experience with Blend Bunny's customer service, and I was sad to hear that because I had great customer service from Blend Bunny. This is the only thing I'd ordered from them on launch or almost on launch, and there was some confusion with delivery, so I thought it was lost, and I contacted them saying, hey, it says it's been delivered, but I can't find it anywhere. I searched my apartment complex. Eventually I did find it, But in that interim, Blend Bunny's customer service was excellent, and I'm pretty sure I was talking to the owner of the company because I think it's just her and her husband. Anyway, I don't know. I feel bad that Carrie and her friends, or maybe just Carrie's friends, had a bad experience with the brand, but personally speaking, I can say that I've had great experience, so I'm not sure. But anyway, I'm going to take a smudger brush, and it's time for my palette pull-in. So that shade is called Moody, and it's, as you saw, just a deep teal matte. So I'm tapping into it with my smudger brush, and I'm placing that on my lower lash line in the outer corner. It's a very dark teal. I mean, in bad lighting, which is what I almost always have because I'm filming early morning, it looks like a super deep green. It certainly has some teal in it, but from what I see right now, it just looks really dark green. Okay, that's the look. Of course, I'm going to go off camera, catch up the other side, figure out a waterline color, etc., 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 and I will be right back to show you the finished look. All right, here's how the look turned out. Let me tell you how I finished it off. In my waterline, I used white, and I didn't do a winged eyeliner, and that's everything for the eye look, actually. On my lips, I'm wearing a ColourPop glowing lip in the shade Candy Kisses. This was from one of their collections, I'm not sure. If you shop the sale page at ColourPop, you can often find formulas you like in special release packaging for a discount because they don't want to use the special packaging forever, so that's where I got this. On my cheeks, I'm wearing the Très Luce blush in the shade Ready to Bounce Vacation. And then I have Nomad Cosmetics, I have a hair in my mouth. I have the Nomad Cosmetics highlighter. This is the shade Kofa Non Moonlight. This one's super beautiful. Everything I'm using, again, is linked down below in the description box. I have mascara, and that's everything. I forgot to finish talking about summer vacation. When people ask me if I have plans, I don't. We currently live in an apartment complex, and there is a pool. There are actually 2 pools here, so my daughter really likes to go swimming. We're probably going to be moving, hopefully, to a house with more storage within the next couple of months, but I hope to get to enjoy the pools a little bit before we move. And then even afterwards, we have friends who have pools, we'll be able to use theirs. But swimming is kind of the thing we've been doing the last 1 or 2 summers, and my husband's been traveling for school, and it's really, for me, it's just surviving the heat. I very much dislike hot weather, and it gets really hot here, so I don't particularly care for summer in general. I like to go for walks when the weather is comfortable. After dinner, we'll often go for walks, and I have a stroller, and I definitely utilize it. So anyway, have to let me know in the comments below what your summer plans are. If you have, trips coming up, or if you're going to meet friends, or if you're going on vacation with your family. Do you guys do camping? Do you have a pool? Let me know in the comments. I enjoy talking to you so much. Thank you very much for being with me. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you'll consider liking and subscribing before you go. If you want to see more, you know how it works. I'll see you again in my next video. Bye!